And before we see the next frame, there's the answer to the teaser. It's Eddie Charlton. He was beaten in the second round here, and it was in 1956 in the Melbourne Olympic Games.
Welcome back to Manchester, where we're on to the semi-finals now, the first of which is an all-English affair. Let me introduce to you the England captain, Kevin Wright. And the UK number one, Keith Brewer. Up to the commentary box now and join Jim White.
Yes, here we are into our first semi-final of this 1993 Embassy World Pool Championships from the Holiday Inn in downtown Manchester. And the referee, you see there, center of your screen, Robert Shore. He comes from Crewe in Cheshire.
Kevin Wright to break the first frame.
And it looks like the England captain, Kevin Wright, starting things off here in frame one. And joining me in the commentary box, himself a quarterfinalist in this very event, and the loser to Kevin's opponent, Tony Holgate. And Tony, how do you see this match shaping up today?
I think it should be a very, very exciting match. Kevin Wright has got a great chance of winning this match if he can just hold himself together and not crumble against the number one, as I did yesterday.
Wow, that's a terrific shot. A plant there of considerable distance, and I wonder if that's an early indication of the mood that Kevin Wright's going to be in.
Well, I think he's got a great chance here taking the yellows out. If he takes the long one into the corner, runs up to the table, pushing through with the other yellow, which he didn't do, I think he might land himself in a little bit of bother there. He's left himself an awkward one now next to that red.
Yes, it's always very important in pool to try and choose the proper ball in the order of potting so as to make things as easy as you can on yourself. Obviously, as in many games played on billiard tables, control of the white is of the utmost importance.
That's right, yeah. As you see, Kevin, you ran out of position there. He's now struggling to get these. That's a very, very clever shot. Keith now, he's been left with a... I think he can... That red just goes past the black into the centre. But again, it's a very, very tough finish now. And of course, if Keith misses, it could be frame one to Kevin Wright.
Yes, Tony, one thing that, again, I've seen this week is the amount of tactical play involved in this game. That was a very strategic shot by Kevin Wright, covering the pocket, and obviously didn't go to pot that yellow.
No, well, he knew he couldn't get back up for the yellow into the centre. And I mean, the black's very, very tricky to get on. But one thing you can't afford to do is make mistakes against Keith Brewer, because you do get punished at the full, as I've already found out.
Well, I know that your quarterfinal against Keith, it was a 7-6 victory for Keith Brewer over yourself, and it was a very high standard. And if Keith continues to display that caliber of pool, he's going to be a very difficult man to beat in these championships.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's the favourite to win it. I nearly did him yesterday, but he's going to take some stopping. The thing with playing against Keith, you've got to get in early. Yesterday I didn't get in early, but if Kevin can hold his own through the first session, he's got a great chance. This really is a superb finish if he gets these, Keith, because he's under immense pressure after Kevin leaving the yellow over the pocket. just goes to show the single-mindedness of the man. I mean, he's been preparing for this championships for well over 6 months now. Solid practice, hours and hours. He's put so much into it. That's great shot. Great shot.
So it's the UK number 1, Keith Brewer, taking the opening frame here in the semi-final and leading Kevin Wright of England by 1 frame to 0. Well, there's your ladies finalist, Linda Moffat, sitting with Ross McInnes of Scotland. He's the semi-finalist as well. I wonder who's giving who tips. Tony?
I think Linda might be giving Ross a couple of tips in English. I'm not sure.
And Keith Brewer, having lost that preceding frame, breaks off here in frame 4.
Ball potted.
And a very powerful start. Hammering those balls. He's knocked one in, so it's an open table for Keith.
Yeah, he's been a little unlucky the way the balls have landed there. He's got a couple of Volker ones, whichever colour he takes. I think he might take the yellows because he's got a perfect angle to move the one out on the top rail. And if he does that, who knows, he could take these from the break.
Well, there obviously I think what Keith was trying to do was manufacture an angle to dislodge the yellow that was tied up, and in so doing he's forgot about the pot.
Yeah, it's easy done. You can easily take your eye off the pot when you're trying to watch where the cue ball's going to move another one out. As happened there, he's left Kevin with a very good chance to finish.
Yes, and Simon caught up to Kevin a little earlier and asked him what frame of mind he's going to have going into this match.
I'm just going to go out there and enjoy the game. No game plan or anything.
You've played him several times before. It's not gone your way.
I've played Keith twice before, and he's beat me 3-2 both times.
So close enough to give you hope.
Yes, yeah. It's all on the day, isn't it?
What type of match do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be quick-fire potting, or do you think a lot of tactics?
Well, I think it'll be a mixture of both, you know.
Yes, and as Kevin carries on here, it's quite evident to me that he lets his cue do the talking for him.
Yeah, Kevin's not the most outspoken player on the circuit, I will say that. But he's a smashing lad and he's a smashing character. And he's very popular with all the rest of the players.
Yes, a very likable gentleman indeed, and got a little bit of talent on the pool table as well. Looking very much like squaring things up here at 2 frames each, and Keith Brewer can only sit and wonder how long this rot is going to continue. So it's the 33-year-old man from Crewe tying things up in this semifinal at 2 frames apiece. Well, Kevin Wright will be feeling a lot better about things now. Having dropped the opening 2 frames, he's come right back to take the following 2 frames and played himself right back into this match. And balls are falling into pockets all over the place. I think he made 2 reds and a yellow as well. It's the first time I've seen 3 balls going off the break.
Yeah, that's right. He's been a little unlucky where he's landed there because, I mean, the table's so open. And another rule you've got to remember is every time you play a shot, after you've struck the object ball, you must strike a cushion afterwards. And that can be tricky, and playing safe here, not letting Keith see the balls.
Foul.
There you have it. He's played a foul.
He's playing.
It's very interesting. Kevin nominated red, obviously because there's one more red down than the yellows, and played a deliberate foul. Again, a move that might be difficult to understand for a lot of our viewers, but I can assure you that these guys out there know what they're doing.
You know, I can't really understand that shot at all that he's just played. He's left Keith with a free ball, I mean, if he knocks it out and gets on a red, he's got a game on. I mean, it would have been just as well to maybe play an attacking shot or cover a pocket even.
Second visit.
Well, that's exactly what is in Keith's mind, obviously, Tony. Possibly trying to win this fifth frame at his earliest convenience. Keith Brewer is a full-time pool professional. He hails from just up the road in Failsworth. So he's had the benefit of being able to sleep in his own bed for these championships. And he's married with 2 daughters. So this title could come in very handy with respect to Keith's career and his future. And as has been mentioned earlier in this program, he is the current UK #1. And in fact, in the International Pool Players Association ranking list, he is #1 as well.
Yeah, and I think he's showing just why he's the #1 now. You can't afford to make one single mistake against him. But actually, he's run a little bit too far there on his last yellow. He could be struggling to get onto the black here.
Yes, I think he's got the slide rule out, and he's just weighing up the angles here, how he can attain position onto that black. Certainly nothing straightforward.
Yeah, I think that's the best he could have hoped for. It's a great shot. I think Kevin will be a little bit disappointed with this frame, though.
Wow, that was a tremendous finish from Keith Brewer. The crowd very appreciative of that effort. And it stakes himself to a 3-frame-to-2 lead again in this semifinal encounter. And there's the Embassy Cup, symbolic of the 1993 World Pool Championship.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. 6th frame. Keith leads 3-2 to break.
And Keith Brewer breaking off in frame 6 here, and he was really the beneficiary of an error in judgment, I feel, from Kevin Wright in that last frame.
Yeah, I think Kevin will be very disappointed with that last one. I really can't understand the tactic of what he did with that tapping up to the yellow.
Foul.
I think there Kevin's made another critical mistake there. He's gone in off. He's left Keith with the choice of ball still. I think this will be not a good time to have the interval.
Playing red.
Well, as the referee has made us aware, Keith is on the reds. And being the capable player that he is, you can never be too surprised by the type of finishes that he can produce. This would be a very good one, judging by the position of the balls. A few awkward reds. But just to let you know what sort of money is involved in this 1993 Pool Championship, these players are playing for £500 out there right now. The losing semi-finalist is already guaranteed 500 pounds, and the winner going through to the finals will be on a cool 1,000, with the eventual winner doubling that and taking home a check for 2,000 pounds. Not bad for a couple days' work.
This was it. This was it.
Well, Keith obviously still having the benefit of that miss in hand. And this must really be looking quite ominous for Kevin Wright, I'm sure.
Yeah, a couple of bad errors there by Kevin in the last two frames really cost him. I think Keith will be very happy to open up the 4-2 lead. And he'll be trying not to do what he did against me and get a little bit complacent. That's absolutely perfect. He's even got this advantage beam over the middle pocket there, because he can get his cue down and stop the white dead for the black.
Yes, and there's little that Kevin Wright can do right now. The man at the table is flawless. So it's the local man, Keith Brewer, taking a 4-2 lead in this best-of-13 semi-final match against Kevin Wright of England. But before we go to the break, another query for you at home. How many pool tables are there in Great Britain? And welcome back to the Embassy World Pool Championships. And would you believe there's 47,000 pool tables in Great Britain, 10 times the number of snooker tables. And Kevin Wright just getting ready to break off and probably feeling a little out of sorts at the moment. Another error in judgment on his part cost him that frame. And again, he finds himself 2 frames in arrears. And Tony, it really must be said, he missed a couple easy pots in that last frame and seemed to give it away.
Yeah, he must be absolutely gutted with that frame, because he had the frame one with 2 shots. And he had 2 simple yellows, and a very uncharacteristic of Kevin to miss balls like that. But he's got another great chance here, and this time he must take these out. If he goes 6-3 down, it's all uphill then.
Well, at this level, these are the sort of opportunities that must be taken.
Well, he's played that ball absolutely perfect. He's only just got to roll the red into the middle. The other 2 reds are simple. The black's right-hand side of the middle pocket, so he hasn't got to work the cue ball at all to get this finish. This really should be 5-4.
And Keith, knowing he never got a chance to get to the table in this frame, completely helpless. And he's going to see the black go in and his lead cut to 1 frame. So it's Kevin Wright, the England skipper, pulling one back. He's trailing 5 frames to 4 in this best-of-13 semi-final. And Kevin Wright having pulled back 5 frames apiece now. And this is where character starts to play a part. It's a shootout now. Really a best-of-3
Open table.
semi-final. And the first advantage looks like it's going to Keith Brewer. He's got an open table.
You know, I think there's a lot of pressure on Keith now at the moment. I mean, he's been regarded as a favourite all the way through this competition. And to get back to 5-5, Kevin showed a lot of character.
Yes, I think Keith just taking a little more time than he might normally. He's probably wants to compose himself. He has really been shut out in the last couple of frames, and that certainly isn't the best effort that he's had this afternoon.
I think a little bit of pressure's now starting to show on Keith. Kevin's really firing on all cylinders. Keith maybe feels that if he lets Kevin in, Kevin's not going to miss at the moment.
And all week, the atmosphere and the support here has been tremendous in the Crown Plaza, the venue of this World Pool Championship for '93. It's a beautiful venue, and I'm sure the players have been well looked after. And a good shot there of Kevin Wright standing in the background as Keith relinquishes his turn. He didn't even want to bother to sit down, Tony. He's probably really pumped up out there. He's won the last 2 frames, and I think he's feeling pretty good.
You can see it all over his face. He can't wait to get to the table at the moment. And he's run out the last 2 frames with 2 8-ball finishes. And as you see with that shot there, he doesn't feel he can miss at the moment. He's really taking the game to Keith now.
Yes, he certainly appears like a different player after the preceding couple frames. Much more confident, a little more bounce to his step around the table.
Yeah, I think a lot of that, he's noticed Keith is missing a couple of balls now. It's going to give him a lot of confidence to see the UK's #1 missing simple pots like he just did a minute ago. Got a tricky little finish here, though. He's got a couple of awkward reds across the right-hand side of the table. He's trying to work out now how to get on them.
Well, it looks as though this red might well pass into the bottom right-hand corner past the yellow. Certainly appears as though that's the way he's played it.
Yeah, from up here, I didn't look at first that he could get through there. So obviously the finish a little bit easy. He's borrowed a bit on the yellow as well. A little bit lucky there. But he's set up perfectly now to take this next frame.
Now just one good positional shot from the last red to the black. Obviously having a look at the only pocket the black will really play into off this red. And I don't think he's hit that hard enough, Tony. And what a monumental mistake this would be at this stage in this match.
I'm not sure if he can pot it. That's a brilliant shot.
What a tremendous shot that was from Kevin Wright. And with it, the first time he has seen the lead in this semifinal, he's now 6-5 in front and just requires one more frame for a place through to the final. Well, if Keith can prolong some strategic play here in this 12th frame, he has seemed to pull out a few errors and find a few chinks in Kevin Wright's armor. Some errors in judgment by Kevin have cost him a couple frames. When he's been loose and flowing and attacking, he seems to be getting the better of Keith Brewer.
I think he's left Kevin a slight chance here. I don't know whether Kevin's going to have a go at these. He seems to be playing safe again. That's a good shot.
Yes, he appears to be getting all the yellows over the pockets, and in so doing possibly blocking off a lot of Keith Brewer's possible pots.
Thing is, though, Kevin doesn't really want to wait too long. If he gets his chance, he wants to go in and take it. He can't afford to hesitate. There, I really think Kevin should have gone game there. He did have a finish on, and you can easily make the mistake hanging about too long, let your opponent in, and then you're really in trouble.
Well, very true, Tony. I mean, that yellow that is in the middle of the table next to the reds does look potable in a couple pockets. And he's just given Keith the opportunity to, again, tie up at least one or more of his balls. So he really had a chance there that he could have possibly attacked. And as we've seen earlier, he's relinquished the opportunity.
I think really Kevin is trying not to make a mistake. He wants to be sure of these balls. He knows he's got the two bottom pockets half covered. He knows he's the favourite for this frame at the moment, the way the balls are situated, and he just doesn't want to make a mistake. I think that's what's really going through his head at the moment. But in doing that, you've really got to be careful.
Well, a lot of thought going into this next attempt from Keith Brewer. He finds himself on the brink of defeat here. And many supporters and players alike were tipping Keith for the title.
Foul.
Yeah, he seems to use nearly all the 60 seconds there to play that last shot. Now, I wonder if it's just starting to tell on Keith. He's 6-5 behind. It's an uphill task, and he's the favourite. And Kevin's trying to take his chance now.
Foul.
Well, the referee has awarded a foul, but I don't believe it was a foul. I think Kevin actually made his yellow.
I beg your pardon, Kevin. Excuse me.
Yes, and the referee acknowledging that he's human. And as it turns out, this is really an opportunity for Kevin. He's still got 2 visits. Oh, I would dearly have loved that one to go in, but as it is, things really look promising for him, Tony.
Yeah, I think what's going through Kevin's mind now, this is his chance. He might not get another one if he misses this one. So he's got to take these balls out to reach the final. Don't know what's going through Keith's head right now. He doesn't look very happy at all. He's had a few missed chances. You can see the pressure starting to get to him. Late on in the game, Kevin's just not been missing the ball. And that's a fantastic shot. He's really set the game up now.
Yes, I think the crowd here starting to sense a victory. Kevin really wants to be sure. I think if he could leave that yellow over the bottom right-hand corner for his last ball, might be the easiest to attain position onto the black.
Now again, he's left that a little bit tricky. If he drops this in too soft, he could leave the yellow over the pocket on the plant and snook himself. I think he's okay.
Well, slightly under hit. Tremendous pressure on this black.
Yeah, there'll be a few shaking legs in there now, I think.
Just this black for a place into the World Championship final. In it goes. And the white's so desperately close to the middle. And it's Kevin Wright, the England captain, upsetting UK #1 Keith Brewer by 7 frames to 5. And this is really a monumental effort from Kevin Wright, and the crowd duly acknowledging his effort.
Well, a magnificent match. First, a chat with Keith. You must have thought you'd very nearly got it when you got to 5-3.
Yeah, I suppose I did. I wasn't really complacent or anything at 5-3. Kevin's broken, finished, I've broken, he's finished again. And he's played very well, really, to come back from that yet again.
Yeah. A nerve-wracking match. You looked at one stage as if you had command.
Well, the thing is with pool, you can really never have command. You can be in front with frames, but each game just comes out as it does. And, you know, if you don't get the chances, then you don't win the frames.
Well, Keith, congratulations on your part in a fantastic match. Turning. You must have been a little alarmed with Keith playing so well at the start. Did you think it was drifting away from you?
Well, we all know how Keith can play. Obviously, he's a top player in the country. There was no pressure on me today. Just come out, relax and enjoy the game. Nobody expected me to win.
But at 5-3 down, with Keith playing as well as he was, did you change your tactic at all?
What tactics?
You just potted, yeah?
Yeah, just went for them, yeah. Yeah.
Because initially it looked like you might be drawn into a more tactical game, but you seemed to want to change that.
Well, I was quite happy with it. Obviously, you can't let Keith in with a chance, because 9 times out of 10 he'll just clear the table. So I'm just happy with the way I played. Win or lose.
And now you're in the final. Bit of a dream come true?
Well, without a doubt, yeah. Yeah.
Any preference for who you play, Nigel or Ross?
Not really, no. Just pleased to be there.
Well, well done.
Cheers.
Savour the moment and come back strong in the final.
Right, thank you.
Well done. So that's it then. The first semi-final over. Who will Kevin play in the final? Will it be Nigel Davis or Ross McInnes from Scotland? Find out then right after this break.
Little question to take you into the break. What is the time limit a player has to make a shot in these championships?